Good evening. In the earlier video, we just stopped at the concrete lining. We'll continue from there. It was abruptly ended a little bit. Again, we start there. So, in the concrete lining, we have seen how the slopes can be stable with much steeper ones. Therefore, we can resort to uh, very good steep slopes as well as we can say save the land, because once it are steep slopes, the width of the channel is very less. Therefore, uh, when steeper slopes or vertical side walls desired, forms are necessary to hold the concrete in place until it sets. You can various forms like rectangular and then a little trapezoidal or a square type things. These forms can be necessary, and then you can pre-concrete it and then put it there. Non-reinforced concrete linings with vertical sides are not suitable for depths more than about 40 centimeters. So if you are really interested in making depths of these channels more than 40 centimeters, it is always advised to have a reinforced concrete rather than non-reinforced concrete. Okay, so that is how we go about. Then regarding the mixture, 1 part of cement, 3 parts of sand. Usually, normally adapted for concrete, we use this for sand and 4 or 5 graded gravel from 1 to 3 centimeter size. This is water 20 size we say normally used in the concrete. It is three, that is 1 part of cement, 3 parts of sand, 1 part of cement, 3 parts of sand, and 4 or 5 graded gravel makes a very strong and durable lining. In alkali soil, an alkali resistant cement should be used. This is also thing in the market you will get it, alkali resistant cement. In alkali soil you must use it. A water cement ratio of 25 liters per bag of cement has been found to give good results. So when you use this mixture in this ratio, put about 25 liters of water, then that will give you good results. The lining should not be less than 3.5 centimeters thick. This is also very important. Better you should go for, if the channel is somewhat high veracity, then you should take for even 4 centimeters thick, doesn't matter. A wooden template made to fit the inside dimensions of the channel will be useful in obtaining a uniform cross section of the lined channel. So a wooden template also can be used to fit inside dimensions of the channel. This will be useful for having a uniform cross section of the line channel. Otherwise, it will be gone ups and downs and bumps and all these things are there. Okay, let us next. Then these are very important transverse contraction joints. Like in the concrete, you leave some gaps. Normally for the roofs, when you are having a larger area of roofs, you leave, some gaps to allow this concrete to expand and contract. Even while laying the roads, also concrete roads, also you will have grooves. There are gaps. So like that, in your field channels also, you will have transverse contraction joints are used in concrete channels linings to control transverse cracking. Okay, cracking results from shrinkage during volume changes caused by changes in temperature or moisture content. So this concrete, particularly when reinforced concrete also there, it gets expanded and contracted. So and then this when it is wetted, when it is not wetted, also the concrete expands and contracts. So to give this gap, you need joints. These are called transverse contraction joints. The spacing between transverse contraction joints to reasonably control crackling should be 2 to 3 meters. So that means every 2 to 3 meters we might have one transfer contraction joint. The lining is laid in lengths of That's why 2 to 3 meters. That normally in 2 to 3 meters in lengths of line. Suppose if you are having a pre-concrete structures also, you can put in this lengths. Contraction joints are formed by constructing a vertical groove in the top third of the concrete. For example, if the thickness of the lining is 4 centimeters, the groove should be 1.5 centimeters deep from the upper surface. You see, it need not be a complete joint. When you have put this lining, you can put just a groove like thing on the top third of the concrete. That's good enough. So, for example, if the thickness is around 4 centimeters thick of concrete, then the groove should be top 1.5 centimeters deep from the surface. Okay. So, the groove can be made of a flat steel piece about 4 to 6 mm thick. This is just 4 to 6 mm thick steel piece is used to put the groove. This groove should be filled with a suitable sealing compound like bitumen before the channel is placed in operation. So that gap is filled with bitumen, or the groove gap is filled with bitumen. Uh, Curing, this is very important activity. Proper curing is necessary to obtain the maximum strength and durability of the concrete. Curing also prevents rapid drying of the concrete, thereby reducing the possibility that shrinkage cracks will occur while the concrete is still plastic. So if you do not have a curing, they have some problems already, okay. So curing prevents rapid drying of the concrete. That is, it should not have rapid drying. It should slowly dry. So thereby reducing the possibility of shrinkage cracks. Curing may be done by keeping the concrete damp, by sprinkling water frequently, or by covering with wet gunny bags. So this is the one you will spread the gunny bags, and then quite often in a day or 2 or 3 times water may be sprayed to these gunny bags. That will take care of it. Nowadays, of course, with the high grade cements, and of course it seems there are some chemicals also added in the concrete, so that the curing process time is considerably reduced. This is one method again. Curing process time also considerably can be reduced. Brick or stone masonry lining. Single layer brick or tile or rubble stone may be used to obtain satisfactory lining of field irrigation channels. Apart from concrete lining, we said earlier, brick or stone masonry lining also can be done. How it is done? Single layer brick or tile or rubble stone. Anything they are arranged, and they are simply cemented with some kind of mortar, right? The bricks, tiles or stones are laid flat on the compacted side. Once the earthen thing is compacted, both with the sides and bottom, the channel, and then joints are filled with the cemented mortar. When you have arranged the compacted soil, over which you are placing this stone or tile or brick, and then arrange it so closely, and then the cement with mortar. So that is how the procedure. The mortar should have a cement sand ratio. Whatever the mortar you are preparing, you should have a cement sand ratio of 1:4. That means 1 part of cement and 4 parts of sand. The choice between brick, flat, clay tile or stones depends mainly on the availability and relative costs. So it all between, suppose the local stone is available, you can go for normally stone lining. If the no stone is available, you can go for a brick lining. Or tiles, if you are manufactured tiles are there readily available and cheap, then you can also make it, no problem. Such linings are recommended for lining water courses from canals where the discharge is over 30 liters per second. Particularly a little bit high discharge is there, definitely the lining should be there either for concrete, either with concrete or brick or stone masonry like that. Okay, this is regarding the that was the brick or stone masonry lining. Now you have precast concrete channel section. We have been talking about this. A precast concrete is a term applied to concrete units that are manufactured at a central place and hauled to the job site. Many times at a job place, it is not so easy or convenient to make a concrete work job done properly, because many constraints are there. But if it is there at a factory level, everything is under control. the water supply is available, material is available, proper forms and shapes are available. So and you can put as a something like a factory level grade, so that even cost also can be reduced. So that's why their low cost and operating advantages make them particularly suitable for handling comparatively low discharges. Particularly for low discharges, these are very much suitable. So many of these field channels are having low discharges only, not big discharge. So this can be done for high discharges, because structure is very big, and that cannot be done. But here nowadays, even the very big concrete shapes are being prepared nowadays. You can see the flyovers also being built with the precast concrete, slabs and other things. So that is not a big issue. So precast concrete channel sections may be made in semicircular or U sections. This is a standard shape. The semicircular channels are half pipes, are made especially for irrigational use by commercial manufacture of concrete. Nowadays, many of them are manufactured. You need not put anything on the site. You can simply buy them, transport them. They are made in lengths. They are made in lengths of 1 meter or more, and are generally 30 to 45 centimeter in diameter. So this is generally sufficient for your thing. So you can simply the area of land occupied by them channel is greatly reduced. This is another thing. See, they are made in lengths of 1 meter or more, and are generally 30 to 45 centimeter diameter. This will suffice the field channel. Okay, the area of land occupied with them also very less. So that is why you can go for these things. Then this is an example. Estimate the mean velocity of flow and carrying capacity of a field canal water course. Rectangular in section. This is very important. Rectangular in section with a bottom width also given 50 centimeters, and depth of flow is given 25 centimeters. That's the inside one. Single layer bricks are laid in a cement mortar with a cement plaster of 8 mm thick. This is for the Manning's ratio to select. The slope of the channel also is given 2 meters per kilometer. So normally you need area of the cross section and velocity you have to compute to have the discharge capacity. So how do you get velocity? Velocity is given by this Manning's formula. For that you need to calculate R and then S. R is the hydraulic radius and S is the slope. So in order to calculate the hydraulic radius, in order to calculate the hydraulic radius, you need to have this. This 1 minute. You need to calculate the hydraulic radius. A and P also is needed. So A is calculated here, cross sectional of the channel, and because it is a rectangular, you have taken these sides and then bottom. See, this is a 25 centimeter sides, and then this bottom. This is the area. So rectangular, A into B, height into width, and then this is the perimeter, 0.5 it's centimeters. There is something mistake here. It's not 0.5, 50 centimeters actually, 50 centimeters. Okay, there is a mistake here. Then A by P, A by P gives you hydraulic radius, and then S slope, then N. All these things are very understandable. Here is a small mistake. To get 1 meter, there is a 50 centimeter, 25 centimeters and all. So all these things are understandable, and you will have a mean velocity of flow here, and then discharge capacity is calculated. This is how the channel section discharge capacity and then velocity you can compute, and you can have a design. So thank you very much. This completes this open channel hydraulics. We will come with chutes and drop structure. Thank you very much.